Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Talk about it, your health, your life. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. Lifestyle is the medicine. Check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. And if you haven't got a free copy of our book, we're giving it away. Giving you a brand new copy of our hardback book. And you can go there. It's my best-selling book. You can go to myfreehealthbook.com. That's myfreehealthbook.com and pick up a copy of it. We'll give it to you for free. You just got to cover a little bit of the shipping for us to get it to you. I think that's a fair shake. So just cover that. I'll give you the book for free. And the reason we're doing that is we want to help as many people as possible on a mission to be able to help as many people as possible live the life they were designed to live. That is what it's all about. It's to be able to really make a huge impact in your overall health. And remember, to live your potential, health is the vehicle for you to get where you need to go, do what you need to do, be with who you want to be with, love who you want to love, have the energy and vitality to do and accomplish everything you want in life. And so we want to help you get there. And that's what we do here on the show. 888-283-7272 is the number. Give us a call. Or go to the site. You can go to asarx.com. Send me an email. I can make it part of the show, or hit me up on all my social, all at Asa Rx TV. Any of the social handles, you can find me there as well. All right, let's get to the phones, kick off, and go to Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hi. I went to the hospital this week and was diagnosed with acute colitis, and I just want to know what I can eat other than the brat diet. Because I'm losing weight.
Yeah, and the brat diet is fine for periodically, okay? But for the long term, probably not the best. So when if your doctors have you on that, great. But, it's all about cutting out inflammation, right? I mean, there's certain foods. We've got, and of course, if you get a copy of my book, which you can get a free copy right now, go to myfreehealthbook.com. We'll send it to you. But if you understand that there's foods that create inflammation in the body, actually make inflammation, makes it worse. And there's foods that take inflammation out of the body. So if you can kind of realize and figure out what foods work, which ones don't, which ones you need to stay away from, all of that, when you get that down, that can make a big difference. And so the anti-inflammatory diet that's in my book is a great one to utilize. And you can compare it with the brat diet. Has some similarities, but it gives you, I think, a little bit more of a variety, and it's more well-rounded because here's the thing. If you take too many of the foods out, you're going to miss nutrients. And one of the number one reasons that our bodies break down is because of nutritional deficiencies. More than anything else, that's one of the main reasons. So the nutritional deficiencies, that's the big deal. So I want to encourage you that one of the things that is super, super important is to begin to follow that and keep it kind of as your primary. Because everybody gets sidetracked on everything, right? But I'll tell you, you're eating. We are what we eat, just like Granny taught us. She taught me that. I went through all the schooling and clinicals and everything. And at the end of the day, we are what we eat. She was right. She nailed it. So that's what I want to encourage you. If you want to know what you can eat, it's a laundry list. So you really want to get a copy of the book and focus on the foods that are on the approved list. There's kind of an approved list and a non-approved list. You want to stay away from, obviously, the non-approved and really stick to that and make it a huge part of what you do. Okay, but keep me posted. If you need help getting a copy of that book, just let my team know, and they can help you, okay? 888-283-7272. You're listening to Asa Rx. Go to asarx.com. We're here to help you live your potential. Alan in St. Louis, Missouri says, I work on my feet all day, and I've noticed that my knees are beginning to hurt. What could this be? Well, the weight bearing, depending on how much you weigh, because you didn't list that in the email, but it depends on how much you weigh. It could just be the weight bearing. Could be that you have inflammation. And inflammation is a big deal. It starts in the gut, goes to other areas, okay? And if you have a lot of inflammation, that can really begin to lay the standard out of what's going on in the body. So I would first and foremost get a good idea of what that looks like, okay? That's huge. So if well, here's where I'd start. Let me back up. I would start with getting your fatty acids looked at. All right, because you've got different types of fatty acids in your profile. You got 6s and 9s and 3s. You need to get a good understanding of where that is, plus trans fats, and see what's going on with that whole situation. The reason is because when your fatty acids are low, that's one of the main markers for inflammation. It'll make inflammation go up high, and the joint pain begins to happen too. Now, the other thing too is you could be low in vitamin D. Vitamin D3, when it is low, can create and mimic joint pain. And I mean joint pain where there's been no injury, right? Like you're talking about, you're just on your knees all day or on your feet all day and the knees hurt. And that can happen. Definitely can. So it's really about making sure you have the right kind of foods in the right combination, but it's also making sure that you have the right nutrients. And vitamin D is one of those super nutrients. It's actually a hormone, but we still classify it as a vitamin, and that's cool. But it regulates so much in the body. It's a big deal. So I would focus on that first and foremost. Get a blood test done, see what your vitamin D levels are, get a blood test done, figure out what your fatty acid levels are, and then build it up like a muscle, like a gas tank. You got to fill it up, build it up, and begin to keep the body where it needs to be. And that's what's going to help you get out of this situation. I mean, could it just be arthritis in the knee? Yes, but that's such a blanket term. It's like okay, well, duh, we all have arthritis, right? And it's like, duh, as my daughter would say, right? So it's true. It's true. And we just have to get to a point where really when the nutrition is right in the body, when your fitness is right, it doesn't matter if you're 25 or 85. You can beat so much of what we deal with in our health and completely win. That's what I love about this whole thing, is that you don't have to be stuck. And a lot of people feel stuck, but you don't have to be stuck. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. If you're looking for a healthcare provider in your area, someone that believes like we do, check out our providers. You can go to the website, go to asarx.com, and you can easily find our providers there that will help you go to the next level with your health and with your life. And that's what it's all about. It is about thriving. Our Healthy University system teaches you, trains you. We have a campus to be able to help you come to. You can come hang out with us. You can watch it online. But we've got a whole teaching system to be able to get you to the next level with your health and with your life. So I encourage you to check that out. If you don't have a free copy of the book, let us know, and we'll get you a copy. It's a hardback copy of my best-selling book. We're giving it away for free. I give it to you. Just got to cover a little bit of shipping costs. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. We'll get a copy of that to you. More of your questions, and I see you waiting there on the lines. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website and go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day, taking you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. Because you do. You need to be in a good spot. You need to be in a place where you can thrive and not just barely make it. You need to be in a place where you can really be the best version of you, and that's what we want to help you do. So if you haven't got a free copy of my book, go to myfreehealthbook.com. We give you a copy so you can have it. And it can really help transform your life, which it does. And we've got so many testimonials and stories of people that it has. It's good information. And it's kind of your textbook for natural health and ways to live a better lifestyle. It's the things you can pick up and do in your kitchen like the minute you read it, which is why it's so cool. I wrote it that way, so it's applicable, and you can jump in and get started ASAP. All right, let's jump on the phones and get over to Anna. Hi, Anna. Welcome.
I'm allergic to everything, foods, chemicals, animals, dust, everything, medicines. I have back problems, so I can't exercise. I have breathing problems, so I can't walk well. And I'm disabled and on disability.
Now, let me stop you right there. So, allergic to everything, right? So you got to define everything. Being allergic to everything may not really be everything, okay? So being allergic, I get it. Being allergic is a lot of times, remember, when you're allergic seemingly to everything, the gut has got an issue all on its own. There's a massive issue in the gut that needs to be looked at. And there's an issue really more than anything with inflammation, because the gut itself, if there's all kinds of yeast and fungal issues, or if there's just an imbalance of the acidity versus the alkalinity, you can start having issues where there's excessive amount of histamine being developed by the foods you eat. And maybe they're healthy foods and maybe they're not, but the foods you're putting in your body, a lot of times are producing excessive histamine, and that's what causes the allergy type symptoms like the congestion, the runny nose, and the itchy eyes and all that. That's what creates that, is that whole situation. So you want to really look at a good, kind of in a good spot or a good space for why that happens. And it really comes down to your habits more than anything. And the good thing about that is habits may be tough to change in some ways, but also not hard to change in other ways. So that's kind of a good way to look at it and figure out that you can change and you can get better and you don't have to be stuck. You really can make a difference with where you are. It's about making the right choices and doing kind of the right thing. So I want to encourage you that you can do that. You just have to come up with a good, solid game plan to be able to pull that off. And we'll help you with that. That's what we're going to talk about. So when being allergic to that, first thing you want to do, always get with somebody and get started on a good eating plan that eliminates the foods that create inflammation. Now, like I said, the anti-inflammatory diet that's in my book is, you can simply get that at myfreehealthbook.com, myfreehealthbook.com. Get the anti-inflammatory diet there. It's in the book, but the hardback book is going to give you so much more, and it'll be a guideline to be able to help you really dig in and be able to create change for yourself. So I always recommend that you get coached and have a good provider with you that can work with you, that understands lifestyle-based care and medicine. So you need that. And our coaching team is amazing. So if you need help, our coaches are always available. And then we got providers around the country that can help you too. So it's kind of like whatever you want to do, we'll be there to help you along the way. That's where you want to start, though. That's the key. So the key is to really be able to thrive. It's about your habits. So you got to get your habits right first, okay? Now, I get the whole disability thing. I get it. It's real. And I've got so much respect for people that get into that because it's a challenge. But just remember that even though there may be some physical limitations for you, that you don't let your mind get wrapped up in the disability mindset. And what I mean by that is that you're always able, okay? You have ability. Maybe it's not what it used to be. Maybe it's not in the capacity, but you are able. And you're able to be the best version of you today. And so think of yourself at what you're able to do. Think about your ability. What ability? I had a great pastor friend of mine that said that it's in life, if you look at it a certain way, it's all about perspective, right? So he said in life, it's all in how you look at it. It's about perspective. And he said it's not about what you've lost. Because I think we get into a place so many times where we sit around and we think about, well, what we've lost in every area of life, right? But it's not about what you've lost. If you focus on what you have left, maximize what you have left, and then that's the real game plan. Okay, that becomes your new normal. That becomes your new plan for today. Because you've already lived life. You've lived life in certain seasons of life. Okay, great. What's this season look like? You got a certain amount of what you have left. So maybe you have to do disability as technicality for finances or whatever, but don't let your mind wrap yourself up in that you are, and know that you are able. And you're able to be able to do exceedingly abundantly more than you could ever ask, think, or do if you'll put your mind to it. You know, one of the great things my dad taught me when I was a kid is there's a phrase he would always use, and I still have it today. I can still hear him saying it, and I've lived it out. And people say, how do you accomplish so much? How do you do so much? How have you done so much? And why is it almost that no, you don't even hear the word no? And I really don't. Like it serves me well, and sometimes it doesn't serve me well. Like I need to listen probably a little bit more, but I really don't hear the word no. Not when my mind's set on something. And it's because I really believe from a very, very early age, my dad said, you can do anything you put your mind to. Not that you put your body to, not that you put your your hands to or your feet to, but anything you put your mind to, you can do it. Your mind, the power of your mind. It's powerful. So I want to encourage you. Yes, there's a strategy for getting out of these allergies. It's an eating strategy of elimination. And there's a whole plan about that in my book. Okay, myfreehealthbook.com. But just know that you're able. Know that you're not bound by limitations and you're not bound by your past. That you have a brand new future. And you decide that of what that's going to look like. We'll be right back. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Triple 828-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call. Go to the website. Go to asarx.com. I'm Asa, your host, here with you each and every day. You can check us out. All the social media is at Asa Rx TV. Asa Rx TV. You can easily find us there and jump on board with everything we're doing. Instagram's where I'm the most active, but we do Facebook and Twitter, and I hang out on some of those platforms too. Spotify's really good for us. You jump in and check out our Spotify. We release new albums, as we call them, once a quarter. So check out Spotify, and you'll be able to see that. And jump on board with all that we're doing. We are here to help you live your potential and become the best version of you. That's what this whole thing's about. Health is just a vehicle. Like I can sit here and help you with your health all day long and come up with ideas. I get all that. But ultimately, it's for you to live better. I mean, that's what the show's about. It's not about, should I take fish oil or a multivitamin? Although all those things are important, and I'll tell you all the strategies to have a great, healthy body. I care more about what you decide to do. I care more about your will to and your want tos. I care more about the choices that you make every single day and how that impacts your overall health and your overall life. That's what I want to see. That's what we care about here more than anything. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. All right, let's jump in and talk to Terry. Hi, Terry.
Well, I'm doing a blood type diet where you eat according to your blood type, and it says under every blood type that coconut's not good for us under any blood type. And so, and I also looked it up on my phone, is, like coconut or coconut oil good for us? And one study says it is, and then the other study that says it isn't is something about saturated fat, and the strand of saturated fat is not good for our heart. And so I just want to know the truth to see if the diet that I'm on is correct, and then also the other study that said it's not good. I just want the truth to know if anyone knows if it's beneficial for us or not. It's kind of conflicting information. So anyway, that's all my question is, if coconut oil, coconut pure is good for us because of the diet, the blood type diet that I'm on.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, it's a great question. The blood type diet is, Dr. Diamond, he did research on that, and there's been research on it even before him, which he did a good job with it, really did. And there's some benefits to some of that, but I'll tell you this, coconut oil, from everything, there's a lot of conflicting information, you're right. And I think you got to look at where the sources are of that conflicting information, like who's benefiting from that conflict, or who's trying to tear it down. There's a big game going on. It's all about, it's a game of different people doing research and who believes who and who has the better research. But if you look at the mechanics of coconut oil and coconut, it's the benefits are so high across the board in every way that it's a no-brainer. So I would encourage you. I mean, I do coconut oil. I'm a huge fan of it. It's in my book. I teach it. I eat it. I use it. I cook with it. And it's a major part of my diet. And I think that coconut oil, because it's a medium, what we call a medium chain triglyceride, MCT. So it's a fat, but it burns in the body like a carbohydrate. So it's really unique in how it works. But it's great for getting your calories up. If you're trying to keep calories up while you're going like a low carb or something like that, it really helps. But coconut oil is antifungal too, and it's got anti-yeast. So if you got all that kind of stuff going on in the gut, coconut oil is essential because it comes in and really helps to break a lot of that down and make a difference in that way. So those are the things you got to look at and kind of understand that coconuts are really good for you. I think they're just more than anything a superfood. I think there's so many benefits to them. They also really help with thyroid function. They help regulate thyroid function and how well it does. I mean, all of that plays a role. So you really have to look at, they could say, well, it's a saturated fat and it's going to make you have a heart attack. No, it's not. Okay. We need saturated fats to make our omega-3 fats, the monounsaturated fats. We need the saturated fat to even make the other work. Like if you just have all non-saturated fats, you got to have saturated fats for everything to work right. So you have to have them. So I'm a big fan. I think it's beneficial, and I think it works really well to help restore the body in a lot of ways. Okay, I hope that helps. And again, I talk a lot about that in my book, and you can pick up a hard copy of my book. Just go to myfreehealthbook.com. That's myfreehealthbook.com. You can find it there, and I think it'll be an encouragement to you. It's free. We send it to you. You just got to cover the shipping. Okay. So do that, and I think that'll be a good place for you to start because it really does. The coconut oil, I think, is extremely beneficial. 20 addictive foods. We're going to go through those. You think you're hooked? You think you're addicted to food? Most people don't. And then you take the food away from them for a week and watch them freak out, right? So if you have an issue, there's foods that kind of fit in these categories. The different categories for food addictions go like this. So there's chocolate and there's French fries, and these are both high in fat and refined carbohydrate and sugar. Then there's cheese and bacon, which is high in fat but not refined carbohydrates and sugar. Pretzels and soda, high in refined, everything that's on an airplane, right? So high in refined carbohydrates and sugar but not fat. Broccoli and chicken, low in fat, low in refined carbohydrates and sugar. So in general, the researchers found that this is what they used in the study, by the way. They used these categories. So how many of you think the chicken and broccoli people were all excited? They were not excited, I can promise you. So in general, the researchers found that processed foods high in fat and having high glycemic load were the most frequently associated with the addictive eating behaviors. And the glycemic load measures how quickly a standard serving of a particular food will spike your blood sugar. There was an interesting exception, they said. And the researchers found that men had more of a problem with some of the processed foods, like steaks, the nuts, the cheeses, than the women did. They actually had more of an issue with that. And here's the list. We're going to go down the list of the foods that they used in this study. But it was pizza, chocolate, chips, cookies, ice cream, French fries, cheeseburger, soda, cake, cheese, bacon, fried chicken, rolls, popcorn, buttered, of course, breakfast cereal, gummy candy, steak, muffins, nuts, and eggs. Okay? And they said although some of the foods in the list were unprocessed, the researchers observed that the processing tends to result in higher concentration of addictive substances in a food with an addition of fat, carbs, and sugar. So in other words, the dose of fat and sugar you get in a cake or pizza is much higher than you would find in nature, for sure. No doubt about it. So these are some of the most addictive foods they have, and I'll have this list on the website if you want to go to asarx.com and go into our blog section, and you'll be able to see that. We got all these health articles there that we put out every week, and you can go there and find it, and then, of course, get everything you need. Find whatever you need. That's where all the articles and that's where everything is that can really help you along the way. So I want to encourage you to go check that out. Okay. Big deal when it comes to food addiction. And we're seeing it more and more than ever. Food addictions are a big deal. Food addictions play a big role. Food addictions are really the biggest challenge, I think, Because we talk about drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, but I think food's the greatest addiction. Because once everybody gets off the other ones, what do they turn to? they turn to food. Nobody turns to like fitness for the most part to get all amped up and be addicted, right? I mean, I'm probably addicted to fitness. I work out 6 days a week, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. Is that an addiction? I don't know. I just feel good. And I got to teach you guys this stuff. So I have to be the ultimate. I have to be the guy doing all that, right? So that's a big key. But I would encourage you, though, look at what's an addiction, what's not, and really start working on your habits, because your habits are going to make the biggest difference overall. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Let's get over to Virginia. Hi, Virginia. Virginia, you with us?
I have a problem with bloating and gas. Can you tell me something natural that I can do for that situation? I don't know what's causing the gas and the bloating.
It's a great question. It really is, because bloating is something that I think so many people struggle with. And it sounds so simple. You're like, well, I just feel so bloated. A lot of people are bloated. Like, bloating is like, it should be considered a health challenge. It really is. So what happens is the gut, the bacteria in the gut gets out of balance. And so you can build up things like yeast or fungal issues or heavy metals. You can build up those kind of things. Heavy metals, a lot of times not so much, but the yeast and fungal issues for sure. And then if the bacteria gets out of balance, that's where everything really starts to kick in. So probiotics, at least 30 billion, maybe 40 billion in per capsule. Digestive enzymes are really good. Hydrochloric acid, which you can help stimulate with apple cider vinegar, because sometimes the bloating is your body not being able to break down proteins very well. And the apple cider vinegar is a great way to do that. So I just want to encourage you, you have to get your diet right. So get a copy of my book, myfreehealthbook.com. It's free. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. And the anti-inflammatory diet is in there, and it will be a real blessing to you. Okay? Keep me posted how it goes. This is Asa Rx. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Triple 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be, to live your potential and help you become the best version of you. All right, most teens' physical activity now is happening at school, and that's about it. About half of the young teens' daily physical activity occurs at school, but it accounts for just a fraction of their time there. So we knew that schools were a major source of physical activity for kids, but we were surprised that kids spent only 4.8% of their time at school physically active. The lowest of all locations, said study lead author Jordan Carlson, director of community engaged health research at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. Besides helping to prevent obesity and chronic disease, physical activity has benefits for bone health, brain development, academic achievement, on-task behavior, and mental health, they said. So kids have a natural instinct to move around. They just do. And schools can support it by providing more opportunities for students to be active, like incorporating physical activity in the classroom is one way of doing that. Study also found that walking to school added an extra 15 to 20 minutes of overall physical activity to children's days, yet the proportion of kids who walk to school has dropped from 40% a few decades ago to 15% now. So building schools closer to students' homes, improving pedestrian safety, and utilizing drop-off zones when the distance to school is too far, they could have meaningful impacts on their overall physical activity and health, Carlson said. But the researchers now measured how much moderate to vigorous physical activity nearly 550 teens received daily by outfitting them with a GPS tracker and an accelerometer for an average of 7 days. The group of teens ranged from 12 to 16 and was diverse in terms of gender. So they had a good variety of it. The teens spent about 42% of their waking time at school and a little more than a quarter of their time at home. They also spent about 13% of their time in their neighborhoods and 14% of their time elsewhere. So overall, the study found that they spend an average of 39 minutes a day engaged in moderate to vigorous physical activity, significantly less than the 60 minutes recommended for healthy development and obesity prevention. On school days, just over half this activity time occurred at school, the study found. And when average across the full week, including weekends, teens got about 42% of their total physical activity while they were in school, which I think is interesting. But they got about 10% of their total physical activity each week in the neighborhood or around their school, the study found. But despite the declining budgets, it's important that the schools not neglect the value of physical education. I completely agree. It's a big deal, and I don't think we tackle it enough and put enough importance on it, but it's a really, really big deal. And the most important implication coming out of the study was that as a society, including parents and educators, healthcare providers, and government officials, we need to do more to promote a healthy, active lifestyle among the at-risk adolescents. That's really the biggest deal. So studies are showing that kids learn better when they have time for physical activity. I totally agree. Like back in the day, I would never want to think that I'm getting to the point where I would ever say back in the day, because it feels like yesterday, right? But we were like so active. Now, I know we didn't have the devices. I mean, even the video games were pretty like compared to what's now, like it looked like a piece of popcorn bouncing around on the TV screen. Like it's awful, but we thought it was cool. And they started to get better, but it wasn't enough to keep our attention. I think now everything is so awesome that everything's fighting for your attention. Everything, TV, podcast, the internet for sure, and things are so advanced. And I think kids get into what they get into. But the last thing a lot of kids want to do is just go out and play and run around. Like that day has really changed a lot. Where it was pulling teeth to get me to come in. Like literally, my mother would be out in the neighborhood playing. She'd have to I'd be like clawing not to go inside even to eat dinner. I just wanted to stay out and play nonstop until it was dark and I was still wanting to play. So physically active is something that I've always been, and I really enjoy it. And especially after sitting in school all day, I was like, let me, I got to go. So I just hope we will find ways to help kids get more active and be more physically active, because childhood obesity is going up through the roof. And it's like 1 out of 3 of our young people under the age of 11 has type 2 diabetes. That's crazy. Think about that. 1 out of 3. It's crazy, but it's the truth. And I think we need to do something about it. I think we need to deep dive in. We need to make something happen. Otherwise, our generation coming up underneath them is going to be in for a world of challenge. That's for sure. And I think it's sad because we have so much information, but it really comes down to behavior. It's like one more study comes out and we found this drug or we found this way to help with diabetes, but we're not addressing the behavior. Like no one is addressing the behavior. Like you think it's genetics, or do you think it's the broken home that child comes from, or do you think that it's the fact that their food sources are not that great, or it's the fact that there's no one in the house to cook for them. They're eating out of boxes all the time with junk food because both parents are working. And I'm not faulting anybody for that. I'm just saying it is what it is. Like diabetes is not happening because the genetics are being passed down. There are genetic involvement, but it's not. It's like 10%, 5% maybe. It's lifestyle habits. We know that. It's proven. So until we tackle that, until we want to take on behavior, nobody wants to take on behavior. This is what I do. This is what we do here, by the way. If you haven't figured that out yet, this is why we do what we do. Because I don't want to see people suffer. And I can tell you, after being almost 20 years of clinical practice, I can tell you that it's not just genetics. And it's not just, oops, I've got high blood pressure. Like you look at that person's life and behavior, that's why their body's breaking down. You want to figure that out? That's why their body's breaking down. So that's the deal. I want to see our kids get better. I want them to have a better environment. I think we can do better as leaders and parents. We have to. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Mr. Fig, also Derek Allen, and John Garrison, our chief engineer. Go tell one person something you learned on the show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the show that helps you live your potential. This is Asa Rx.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, Check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Health, your life. Remember, if the body can get sick, it can also get well. Lifestyle is the medicine. So the choices that we make every single day can and will determine the kind of health we're going to have. So we want to help you. No matter what you're struggling with, we want to see you live your potential. Why? Because you have an amazing potential. And a lot of times people don't tap into it. Matter of fact, most people don't tap into it. They don't live the life they were designed to live, the life that they could live. And really the greatest life comes down to you maximizing everything that God's given you so you can do great things. It is true. 888-283-7272. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. If you haven't picked up a free copy of our best-selling book, it's a hard copy. We'll send it to you for free. I just decided to do that, help, encourage people. All you got to do is cover the shipping. There's a little bit of cost there to get it to you, but we'll cover the book. We pay for it. It's almost $30 book. We just send it to you for free, and we want to see you live better. And it's got the tools in there that really will take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. Let's kick off and go with Allison. Hi, Allison.
I'm dealing with dry eye. I'm 35, and it's degenerative. And I also was recently diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I have Epstein-Barr. I had mono at one point.
Yeah, that's a whole different deal. And when you got dry eye, many, many times, a lot of times it just seems like it's random, but it's not. And you want to get a test done for fatty acids. There's different types. There's the omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids. You get those checked out. See what the balance is and the ratios. A lot of times there's such a severe omega-3 deficiency that's where the dry eye comes from. And when you get on heavy amounts of fish oil or cod liver oil, it really begins to change that. And a lot of times the skin conditions that we deal with are omega-3 deficiencies as well. So they really go hand in hand. The dry eye and the fatty acids are almost, they dance together. So I would get it checked out. We get a blood test done. If you can't find one, just touch base with our provider team, and we can easily help you get one there in your area. Pretty simple. It's a simple test, but it gives you great information. Plus, you can see trans fat levels in the blood and see exactly what's in the cells to see what you need. And dry eye is just not some weird genetic thing. It's definitely nutritionally related, and the body is not getting something that it needs. So I would look at those tests in that way, or have someone look at those tests so that way you can know exactly what's going on. Okay, and please keep us posted. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. I'm Asa, your host. Check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. It is the prescription, really, the RX, to help you live better. We want to see you live better and see you thrive in everything that you're doing. You have a potential. You got to tap into it. That's what this thing is all about. All right, what about nuts? Almonds, cashews, walnuts, macadamia nuts. Those are my favorite. Well, if you like them, it doesn't seem, and you think, well, they're going to put a bunch of weight on you. Well, there's probably a new way of looking at it now. So they looked at nut consumption, and they found that it can actually cut your risk of death. This is a 1 ounce serving each day showed a 20% reduced risk of dying from any cause over 3 decades. So we looked at nut consumption. They said 119,000 Americans over the past 30 years. Dr. Charles Fuchs, who's done this study, it's a study that was done by the U.S. National Institutes of Health and, of course, the International Tree Nut Council Nutrition Research. I didn't even know there was such a thing. But it was all published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Nuts are nutrient-dense foods, according to certain information, unsaturated fatty acids, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Well, previous research has linked nut consumption to a lower risk of heart disease, as well as improvements in the risk factors for heart disease, like high cholesterol, according to the study. Well, researchers looked at how nut consumption might affect all causes of death, as well as whether nuts were linked to death risk from specific conditions like heart disease. But the study concluded that more than 76,000 women from Nurses Health Study and more than 42,000 men from the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study, anyone with a history of heart disease, stroke, or cancer was excluded from the study. Nut consumption was verified in the study, and they looked at it, but the researchers said at the bottom line, we know that over a 30-year study, people who had or ate nuts on a regular basis, at least 1 ounce, kind of like a handful, cut the risk of dying. So pretty amazing to see that. Eating more nuts was linked to a lower risk of death due to cancer, heart disease, and respiratory disease. A new study uncovered the association between eating nuts and living longer, but it didn't prove cause and effect, just so you know they always have that. So the serving size for 1 ounce is usually about 16 to 24 almonds, 16 to 18 cashews, or about 30 to 35 peanuts. So people who ate nuts tended to be healthier overall, according to the study. They were leaner, had lower rates of obesity, had lower cholesterol, had less high blood sugar, and had smaller waist circumferences, ate more fruits and vegetables, and exercised more than people who ate fewer or no nuts. So Fuchs and his team controlled the data to account for these factors. And one expert said that people who are eating nuts aren't eating instead is also important. The study adds to the research that nuts are part of an overall healthful diet, especially if you're choosing to have nuts instead of chips or candy. I totally agree. I mean, people say, well, I want to stay away from the chips and all of that, and you go for the nuts, but then you continue to crave the junk food. Go ahead and get the sea salted nuts. They make those. I mean, it's not that much. And when you do the salted nuts, again, sea salted, not roasted with oil, can't do those. But they have natural organic nuts that are, the way they're processed and produced, they just have some sea salt with them. But that salt really does cut the craving for like French fries and chips. It brings in that same level of satiety that you need. And so it really does. It makes a big difference. So a lot of times I'll say, if you're really, really hungry, grab a handful of like almonds or cashews or macadamia nuts and eat them. Wait about 5 minutes. You'll notice you're not hungry at all. And a lot of times the body craves fat because we don't eat enough. We really don't, because we got freaked out in the 80s and 90s about fat because it was like high carb, low fat, and now we're in a diabetes crisis because of that nonsense. But I would just encourage you, though, the nuts are great. And it's something that we use. I use and implement every single day in my eating routine. We do it in our coaching systems with all of our clients around the country. Our providers that are in our local areas, they use them in their protocols as well. It's unless you're allergic to them, it's a given. It's something you should have every single day. Really makes a big difference. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Give us a call or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. Now, coming up, we've got some more questions about your health we're going to jump into. And don't forget, get a copy of my free book. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. That's myfreehealthbook.com. It's my hard copy bestseller. We're going to send it to you for free, absolutely free, to be a gift to you, $30 value. And all you got to do is cover a little bit of shipping, okay? We want to see you live better than you ever have. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. There you can find everything you need. If you're looking for a provider in your area or you just need some help, want to send us an email, jump on our social media and engage with everything we have going on. And Healthy University is really, really cool. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's our teaching system. It's an online teaching system. Basically, it's a platform you can go on. There's 16 different sections that you go through. It teaches you everything about health from A to Z. We've got a a small group that meets on Facebook. It's private. Everybody is so engaged. It's awesome. So if you were looking for a support group and you live in a place where you don't really have that and you're wanting to lose weight, get healthier, live your potential, kind of like our crowd here, then I want to encourage you to look at Healthy University, joining that, getting into the Facebook group, and then also I teach inside of there, very exclusive teachings. I jump on and answer personal questions and really engage with everybody there. So that's our posse, that's our tribe, if you will, and we'd love to have you. So Healthy University is, you can go to Asa Rx and find that there if you want to jump in. It's really, really cool. We're having a great time with it. Walt in Greensboro, North Carolina, he said, I was wondering if you had some ways to help with dry scalp. And again, when I talk skin conditions, anything, dry scalp, dry skin, psoriasis, eczema, you start talking about dry eye, anything along those lines, you start thinking about two things. You start thinking about the gut, and is there inflammation building up there that shouldn't be there? But more than that, you've got to really think about omega-3 fatty acids. It's one of the most efficient things that we have next to magnesium in the body, and we just don't have enough because most people don't eat fish, and that's about the best place to get it from. I mean, you can get it from squash, but I mean, who sits around and eats squash all day, right? So it's kind of one of those, you have to be real strategic to get it. Or you can supplement with it, which I think it's important to do both because the level that you really need for good health is pretty high, and there's no way we get it with our standard diet. It's just like impossible. So I would look at that. There's a test that we do, our providers do, for all the fatty acids. It checks the profiles, the ratios. If you need that, just let us know. But with a dry scalp, you got 9 times out of 10, it's going to be fatty acid deficiency, like almost always. So you can sit there and get the shampoos and the creams and the lotions and the potions and hope for the best and cross your fingers. You can take medications. It's going to put the symptoms maybe at bay a little bit, but the root cause, which is what I'm all about. I like the root cause. I don't want to sit around and dangle on the branches. I want to get down to the root of what's happening with me or anybody else. So that's just something to think about. Fatty acids usually is the key on that, okay? 888-283-7272. Give us a call. Check out myfreehealthbook.com if you don't have a free copy of my book. If you don't have my book yet, you better go there. Like, all you gotta do is cover the shipping. It's a $30 hardback book. I'm giving it to like everybody. Like, it's just like literally we can't even keep them in stock. I had to order more. I had to bring them into our warehouse. It's unbelievable. They've been flying out the door, which is cool. That's what I want. I want you to have it in your hand because I really believe it'll transform your life. It is a comprehensive, but yet so easy to read. We've got so many great reviews on it. And just go check it out. myfreehealthbook.com. Pick up a copy of it. And it really, if not, get it for yourself and get it for a family member, a friend, somebody you know struggling. I mean, it's a few dollars of shipping. It's like nothing. So get that and be blessed with it, okay? Let's jump on and go with Genesis. Hi, Genesis. Great name. Cool name. Like that.
I have a rare condition called Eagle syndrome where the ligaments in my neck are calcified. There are 3 sets we have, and mine are the thyroid process from the base of the skull to the hyoid where I swallow. And named after a physician who found it back in the 1800s, and the only thing they did was prescribe laudanum. I've been to all specialists. I've been to the Asa in Vanderbilt to see the stars. I went to the oral surgeons. They're the ones that would take care of it. It's really not an option now. It would be grave to do that. Not a good outcome. And they're like, maybe millimeters to my carotid artery, pressed, give me trouble in various ways. I have trouble swallowing. It's a calcification issue, ligaments in the thyroid process.
And I'll tell you, darling, that's a tough one. It is. And I hear it in your voice, like it's a tough one, right? So there's some success that's happened with vitamin K2 and the calcification process, even when there's genetic components involved. And again, I always talk about genetics being like 5 or 10%. Well, this is one of those conditions that falls in that category. The genes and the DNA are just, the switches are flipped on, and it's not anything you can really turn off. However, I'm all about what can you do. It's not what you can't do, right? So there has been some success. Anytime there's overcalcification of any level in the body, vitamin K2 tends to unravel that a little bit. Now, is that going to? We don't know. It's kind of like stem cells. They work for some people and they don't for others. They'll take with some people and they don't with others. So is it going to hurt you? No, it can only help, right? So that's the good thing. I mean, vitamin K2 is a vitamin, and we don't really get it from much of anything. So you have to take it supplementally. And there's a real good version of that. If you go to our website, we have it. But you can get it at health food stores, anywhere. Just make sure it's a good quality. And a vegetable capsule. Don't get a hard cap. That can be helpful. But get your vitamin D levels checked too. And I'm sure they've done that with all this going on. Like, surely they've checked your vitamin D. But you want to make sure it's at a good number. You don't want it too high, but you definitely don't want it below 60. So your sweet spot probably between 65 and 85. And you want to talk to your doctor and make sure they're okay with those numbers. But that for the typical and the average, for everything in the body to be working effectively in the way that it needs to, yeah, that's the best way to do it. It really is. And I would encourage you, look at your overall eating strategy. Because it's like with anything else. I mean, even if it's the heart disease or diabetes or whatever, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can. Like, you want to be able to move your body as much as you can. Like, I get it. You're in a tough situation right now. But you want to find what you can do, not what you can't do. Right? We get so focused on what we can't. Let's focus on what we can. But get some chemistry done, blood chemistry done, that looks at all the different nutritional variances and deficiencies. Our providers can help you if you need help with that. But just get someone to dig in and go deep on the nutrition, and I think you'll find some great success there. Okay? Thanks so much for the call. 888-283-7272. This is Asa Rx. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Triple 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. So glad you're with us. Go to check us out on the web. Go to asarx.com. If you haven't checked out our site, you need to. Everything you need is there. Our providers are there. Healthy University is there. And our free book that we're sending to you, the hardback copy, my best-selling book. Go to myfreehealthbook.com, myfreehealthbook.com, and we'll send you a copy. You just got to cover a few dollars on the shipping. No big deal. We send you a $30 book for free. Hey, it's a sweet, sweet deal. Plus, it's helping people. That's what I love about it. I mean, they're flying out the door. I cannot believe, since I started this, how many copies are going out the door. Like, it blows my mind. And it was a bestseller. I mean, it's a best-selling book. I mean, we've had like hundreds of thousands of copies sold. So I want to say thank you for digging in and responding and wanting to be better. I think that's the part that blows me away. It's not that books are going out. It's that when somebody reaches out for a book, they want information, right? They want to learn something. They want to get better. And this show's all about helping you get better. That's why I'm doing that. That's why I'm giving that to you. It's a gift because I want to see you get better. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you do well. I want to see you crush it and not just barely make it. I want to see you really live some life and live it to your fullest potential. I think we all do. I mean, here at our company, that's what we want for you. And we want to see you do it and do it really, really well. 888-283-7272. Give us a call. All right, let's get on the phones. I know you're waiting there. Let's talk to Autumn. Hi, Autumn.
I'm interested in finding out the solution for extreme hair loss in the crown of my head. As a female, I've heard various things, DHT buildup, thyroid issues. I've gone from having a wonderfully full head of hair to a very sparse accumulation of hair, specifically in the crown of my head, kind of like the male pattern baldness that men have. So I'd like to find out what can I do to reverse that situation.
Right. So there's a couple things you can do that can really, really help. One is we got to figure out there's usually a metabolic condition going on. It typically can be the thyroid. It could be one step behind that, which is the pituitary gland. A lot of times the pituitary gland drives the thyroid, and it's kind of the thyroid's typically secondary issue. But there could be several things going on. You could have deficiencies with iodine. You could have multiple things. There could be an issue with your testosterone receptors. There could be an issue with blood sugar and hypoglycemia, and there could be other conditions. I mean, there's so many. I could sit here for probably 5 minutes and go, could be this, could be this, could be this. Bottom line is, you got to figure out what it is. It could be something simple as a mineral deficiency or several of them, but get some testing done. Bottom line, you got to get some testing done. And I would encourage you to get nutritional testing done that looks at the different variables and if the body has any nutritional deficiencies or not. Because that's where you really want to go. You want to see if the body really has that or if it doesn't. Because the bottom line, if it does, then it's pretty easy to replenish. You just got to figure out what it is. And whenever you start seeing symptoms like that are just weird and not normal, it's great that you're asking me a question, because I love that you're digging in. You're like, what is going on in my body? Wasn't always this way, right? So the testing, the power's in the blood. Power's in the blood. I mean, life's in the blood. The numbers are powerful. Numbers don't lie, right? So the numbers are the numbers. So it's good to find that out. So get with one of our providers or get someone that can help you get that facilitated. And that can be a big help, but typically it's a deficiency that's causing that, and usually it can be rectified. You just got to figure out what system is being affected and what the driver is. Not hanging out in the symptoms and just taking a medication. Not that you might not need medication, but you got to dig deeper at some level to figure out what triggered that. And when you get down to the trigger, that's when you can really get some good work done. Okay. Thanks so much for that call. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call. You can go to the website, go to asarx.com. So when somebody has a heart attack, what do you think is one of the best ways to recover? Like eating better? Yeah. Yeah. Most people get freaked out and they start eating really well. They maybe lose some weight and they start exercising. You know, the hardest thing to do is get people to exercise. It really is. It's like the hardest thing to do is get people to exercise, and they just don't. So this is a really cool way of doing that and not having a heart attack. But the cool thing that we're talking about right now is your outlook and your mentality. And I have seen this in practice so many times, I can't even tell you, that when somebody has a negative outlook, they're discouraged, they don't believe in themselves, they don't believe they're going to get well, they don't. I've seen them have second heart attacks. So you really got to watch your mindset. And I got to tell you, some people are just negative by nature. Like it's their nature to be negative. So you really have to watch that too, because when you get negative like that, it's a big deal. And it will make you get to the point where your body can get sick just based on you being negative. So I would really watch that. That's one thing I would jump in on and totally make an impact. Because at the end of the day, your attitude determines everything. But they're saying that having an optimistic attitude after a heart attack, Harvard did this study. 2 weeks after a heart attack, patients who had a positive attitude were less likely to be readmitted to the hospital. This is where they found that, right? So after 6 months, these patients were more physically active than less optimistic patients, the study found. In contrast, gratitude assessed right after the heart attack actually had no effect on readmissions or increasing physical activity, said lead researcher Dr. Jeff Huffman, who's an assistant professor of psychiatry at Harvard. So for the study, Huffman and his colleagues really looked at this, and they found that, which is interesting, in 164 patients, they assessed the patient's optimism and gratitude 2 weeks after a heart attack, and again 6 months later. The findings suggested that all positive emotional experiences may not be alike when it comes to the potential effects on heart health. So it may be optimism as a forward-looking expectation, but many people felt like they needed the healthy changes to thrive. So finding a way to cultivate optimism is the key, right? Because not everybody's optimistic. So finding that way of cultivating it is a big deal. Another study published in the Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine, which I think is really cool because that's it, found that among nearly 400 heart attack patients, the most pessimistic patients were twice as likely to suffer from a serious complication such as a second heart attack, heart surgery, or death in the 4 years following their initial heart attack. Interesting, isn't it? Dr. Forno, he's a professor of cardiology at UCLA out in Los Angeles. He says that there's been great interest as to whether psychological factors, including having a positive outlook and feeling gratitude, can impact cardiovascular outcomes. However, this latest study is too small to provide enough information to really tell if trying to get patients to be more optimistic can improve overall outcomes. Bottom line is, if you've got a good attitude, your chances of being healthy are really, really good. And if you have a terrible attitude, you're negative, like negative Nanny, negative Nancy, like you're just going to struggle. It's so funny. I mean, I can sit in a room, and when I'm seeing patients, I can sit in a room, and the person that walks in that is negative, shoulders are down, face is down, they're the ones that stay sick, and they stay sick over and over and over again, like they're sick all the time. Their attitude's keeping them sick. My favorite is the one that comes in, they've had like some heart issue, and they're so positive. They're like, look, I don't ever get sick. Like, I'm not going to, like, all this thing is just slowing me down. I've got things to do. I've got people to help. I've got games to play. I've got kids to take care of. I've got grandkids to take care of. Like, I've got all these things. My church, I want to be involved in my church. Like, this thing is slowing me down. They've got such a great attitude. It's like just, it's a mentality. I think health really, I know it. It starts in the mind. Like, if your mind is healthy, your body's going to follow. If your mind is unhealthy, your body's going to follow. Did you catch that? If your mind is healthy, your body will follow. If your mind is unhealthy, your body will follow. So it's going to do whatever your mind trumps DNA. I really believe this. Now, there's some DNA at a certain level, 5% maybe, that is just untrumpable. Like, it's just, if that's even a word. It's just not, you can't undo the switch, okay, if it was a light switch. But I believe that just about everything else, and the CDC's confirmed it in numerous studies, and your mind controls everything else. They have shown that you can actually change your own DNA by the way you think. That it's crazy how much they have found that you can see that. It's really interesting. So psychosomatic medicine, how the mind affects the body, really strong. I think we're going to see that more and more as time goes on. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Give us a call. Or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. That's asarx.com. Now, if you haven't got our free book, we're giving away a free health book. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. And I'm giving you my best-selling hardcover copy for free. The reason I'm doing that is to be a blessing to you, because we love you. We want you to be part of the family. Pay a few dollars on the shipping side, and we'll get a copy of it. $30 hardback book, we'll send it to you. Totally as a gift. So you can be encouraged, you can read, you can learn. See, that's why I love it. We're just flying out of our warehouse. I mean, I've never seen books fly out so fast as when I started doing this. They told me, Doc, you got to keep doing this. Like, it's crazy. So many people are getting it. So get your copy. Go to myfreehealthbook.com. We will be right back. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Triple 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Give us a call or go to the website. Go to asarx.com. We're here for you each and every day to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. Lifestyle is the medicine. And if you haven't got a copy of my free book, go to myfreehealthbook.com. It's a hardback copy. We'll send it to you. And all you got to do is cover a little bit of shipping. But it's flying off the shelf. Like, I cannot believe how many people out of the warehouse, we can't even keep it in stock. So I want to encourage you to get that. It'll be a real blessing to you. And if you read it or you want to get it for somebody else, for anybody that's struggling with their health, it'll be a huge, huge help. It will. And I really want to encourage you to make sure that you stay on top of your routine and your game plan. And if you don't have a game plan, if you're just like listening to this show for entertainment, you just kind of find it fascinating, but you're on 3 medications, you don't exercise, you don't eat right, like, come on. Like, this what we have here is a culture, all right? This is a family. And if you're in this family and you're going to take time to listen to the show, watch it on TV, listen to the podcast, I really want to get you engaged. We have Healthy University, which is our is our team. That's our tribe. That's our group. It's our classroom. It's our campus. We want you to hop in and join. We've got a private Facebook group that I jump in on and weigh in on and answer questions and hang out with you guys. But it's a group of like-minded people that want to live their potential, and they don't want to settle. And it's not just eating twigs and berries. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's encouraging each other. It's walking with each other. It's going through the tough times and weeding through all of that. Like it's every bit of that. We want to help you and walk with you through it and see you really crush it and live well. All right. So look at that. Look at Healthy University. Also check out myfreehealthbook.com. 888-283-7272. Give us a call or go to the website asarx.com. I'm Asa, of course, your host. Let's get over to the phones and talk to Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
I have a couple of questions. My first one is about Hashimoto's. I have it. I'm 71. I've had it since I was about 30. I take Synthroid for it, but nothing ever really makes me feel any better. And the second thing that I wanted to ask about is the last time I went to the doctor, diabetes runs in my family, and they always check me for it. And when they did the pinprick, they didn't do the A1C. They just did one pinprick. Came back 126, which, of course, is the borderline, and the doctor went off the deep end and wanted to put me on insulin and all this stuff. And I've been checking my glucose numbers in the morning and at night, fasting numbers, for about 2 months, and there have been 4 days in that 2 months that I have run in excess of 126. And I'm frustrated with it. I don't know whether or not to believe her or not. I'm scheduled to go to on a road trip to Washington, D.C. in a couple of weeks, and just want to know if that is something that I need to be concerned about. I'm going to have an A1C in about a week and a half, but I don't think the results will be back before I go to Washington.
Yeah, I would be frustrated too. I get it. But just understand something, okay? So your lifestyle habits, not for what you've done over the last 6 months, but what you've done over the last 10 years has led to this point. The body works in about 10-year increments, okay? And a lot of times we look back at our life and like, gosh, I've been eating healthy for the last 6 months and I'm just doing great. I'm eating broccoli and I'm exercising and I'm taking fish oil and I'm eating salmon and green vegetables. But you don't realize that really it's whatever your condition, whether it's blood sugar or not, it's been building up over time. And it takes time to unwind some of that residual. Now, blood sugar is one of the quicker ones, I got to tell you, versus like an artery that's getting clogged or cancer and those sorts of things. Those take longer to build and they take longer time to undo. Diabetes relatively fairly quick. That's why the A1C is so important, because it shows over about a 3-month period what your blood sugar has been doing. So in this case, it's just time to do a deep dive. Like, it's just time to get really, really serious. And I know they're wanting to put you on the medicine, and I'm not against that. So you know, I'm not an anti-medicine guy. A lot of people think I am, but I'm not. And I really, there's great merit for that if you don't have good lifestyle choices. But if you look at your doctor in the eye and say, look, I'm going to do what it takes to get these numbers down. And he or she is going to look at you and go, okay, great, I want to believe you, but I have to take care of you in these 5 to 10 minutes I've got you in my office to know that what you're doing every single day is going to be okay. And that's why they'll prescribe you the medication, because they know if you take that, at least if you're eating donuts when nobody's looking, that medicine's going to keep you out of trouble. The thing is, people want to take the medicine and eat how they want to, thinking it's going to keep them out of trouble. And that medicine is only a Band-Aid for so long. You'll only be able to take things like glucophage and metformin for a period of time. You keep up your bad habits, you're going to be on insulin. And that is a road that you do not want to go down. I have seen some of the worst cases you've ever seen. We just did a show on the Discovery Channel called Reversed, and I'm a producer on the show and also a host inside the show. You can go check it out if you want to, but one of the contestants out of 5 ended up dying after the show. And it wasn't anything that we did. It was a wound that he had on his leg, and it's a really, really sad story. I miss Roger so much, and he's such a great guy, but he had a really tough attitude, got into a lot of depression, had a wound on his leg, and it wasn't even the diabetes that got him. It was he didn't take care of the wound. And that which was from having his, of course, his good leg. He had one leg amputated because of diabetes, and that was because of diabetes. The second one, though, was because he didn't take care of the wound in the leg. And the diabetes did cause the wound that wouldn't heal, but he just didn't take care of it. And so he went down a tough road. And, we all miss him. His wife misses him, everybody. It's really tough. So it can go the wrong way, but it can go the right way if you make really good choices, okay? And I want to encourage you to do that. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Mr. Fig, also Derek Allen, John Garrison. Go tell one person something you learned on the show. Together, we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities.
Did you know you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Remember, you can change. You can. All you have to do is have the radical changes that you need, the radical results that you're looking for. Our health can change, but you have to be willing to change. And really, we're in a place right now in America where I think, even though almost half the American population is overweight or obese, even though we've made poor choices for a long period of time, the great news is that we can change. The great news is that if we're willing to make the change, we have more education now than ever. We've learned more about health than we've ever known. We've learned more about prevention and lifestyle. It's kind of like there's nothing new under the sun, but there is a lot now as far as medical science goes to how the body functions. And we've learned so much in the old days that we're bringing back to the new days and applying it. Things simple as getting our vitamin D levels up and how much that can radically transform our health and keep us out of things such as disease and certain disease process, as long as we're willing to change. But the key is, are you willing to change? Are you willing to go from where you are to where you need to be? See, that's the key. The key is wanting to know that you can live better, wanting to know that you can do better, wanting to know that your life can change. And we're going to talk about that. I want to talk so much about what we can do to radically transform our health on this show. And our food for the day, we're going to talk about that. It's coming up in just a moment. Remember, food is our best medicine. But there's a Wisconsin judge that declares individuals have no fundamental right to own cows and drink raw milk. In Wisconsin? Really? This is after being petitioned for clarification about his decision in a recent legal case involving individuals' freedom to consume raw milk and own shares of dairy cows. Judge Patrick Fielder vehemently declared that individuals do not have fundamental right to consume the foods of their choice, and essentially reiterated the state's position that raw milk is simply off limits. Now, let me just say for a second, because I'm a big fan of raw milk products. They're extremely important, I think, for our overall health. And one of the reasons the pasteurized dairy, even though organic pasteurized dairy, is not the best for us. The molecules change when you go through the pasteurization process. You get so much out of the raw cow and the raw milk. Raw goat's milk is just unbelievable as far as your health. And goat's milk is the closest molecular structure we have to human mother's milk. And so I just think I think it's absurd that we're not able to, as consumers, to be able to have the choice, really, when it comes to raw milk. But the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, on behalf of Zinnecker Family Farm in Wisconsin and several other farms, filed a lawsuit against the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection back in February, asking it to clarify its interpretation of the law in regards to raw milk. You can check this out online. But Wisconsin is among the most restrictive U.S. states as far as raw milk is concerned. Raw milk sales to consumers are prohibited, but private cow share agreements in which the individuals purchase shares of their own cows are exempted. However, due to the onslaught of raids in recent years against raw dairies, private raw milk buying clubs, and even raw milk cow share programs, the plaintiffs simply wanted to clarify Wisconsin's stance concerning these alternate forms of accessing raw milk. So you can do that. Just so you know, if you want raw milk, it is, technically against the law to sell it in the states, but you can go in, and a lot of farms, you can go in and, kind of buy into a cow, and then you can get your gallon or so a week of raw milk from the cow that you partially own. And so it's just amazing the life that they had, and to watch that type of living on a farm and just having the good produce and the fruits and vegetables and just the grass-fed beef. I grew up like that, and just the health that you get from that versus what we have today in the regular population is just unbelievable. So I hope more people look into the raw milk and, really support the people locally around you, the farmers. No matter where you live, if you live in the city, it may be a little bit more difficult, but even in the suburbs, if you drive a little bit farther out, just look, because the farmers are around more than you would think. And, supporting them is always a great way to go. But what it'll do for your family, the health benefits are amazing. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You can call me right now, be a part of the show, or whatever questions you might have. We're here to help. Let's go now to Jeff. Jeff, welcome to the show, my friend. How can I help?
I've got an itch on my left arm. It's right between my elbow and the bend of my arm.
Okay.
It's been on there for about a year, a little over a year, and it just comes and goes. It'll last maybe a week, 2 weeks at a time, and then it'll stop, and it may stop for a month, but then it comes right back. There's no blemishes on my skin. I've used all kind of over-the-counter lotions, anti-itch creams, and nothing seems to help it whenever it starts to itch. I try not to scratch it, but it's just, even in my sleep, I scratch it till it's bleeding. And that's the only marks that'll be left on there, is just where I've scratched it.
Right.
I don't know what to do about it. It just drives me crazy when I'm awake, and evidently when I'm asleep also.
So it'll last for how long? When it comes on, it'll just come out of nowhere. It'll start itching.
Right.
And then it'll just go away.
It'll just go away.
You've been to the doctor, so you went to the dermatologist, I assume. And what did they tell you?
No, I have not been to the doctor.
Okay.
I've just used over-the-counter
That's
pharmacists at the drug stores. They've told me to use different things, but I have not been to a
How
doctor.
often will it happen? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? How often will it come and go?
It may happen all week long, and then it may stop for 2 or 3 weeks, and then it'll start all over. And sometimes it'll last a week, sometimes 2 or 3 weeks.
How's your stress level in your life?
I don't think I've got any stress.
Except this itch on your arm.
Sir?
Except the itch on your arm. That's about the only stress, right?
That's about it. I'm 49 years old. I'm perfectly healthy any other way that I know of.
Well, a lot of times when you have, let me just tell you this, when you have weird stuff go on with the skin, here's a little key to remember. All skin conditions, for the most part, are inside out, not outside in. That's why when you put the creams and hydrocortisone creams and all that, they don't really work that well. They do temporarily, but they don't get to the root cause. So a lot of times when you have weird itch on the skin, usually you have omega-3 fatty acid deficiency. We don't get enough omega-3 fats, and what that comes from is fish oil, not in the gel caps, but the oil itself. A tablespoon a day for most adults is what's generally recommended. So that might be something you want to look into. That'll help kind of cut down inflammation in the gut, and also cutting out wheat products and grains for a period of about a month or so. That's bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, all the flour stuff that many of us eat. That can play a big, big role in skin conditions, whether it's itching or burning or whatever it might be. Believe it or not, plays a big role. And again, that's cutting down inflammation in the gut. And I would go see your doctor, though. I would definitely have them run some tests and take a look at it. That's a smart thing to do always. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Your health is your greatest wealth. I hope you know that. And regardless of what you're struggling with, there's always hope. There's always hope to get your health back. Whether it's diabetes or heart disease, arthritis, depression, anxiety, that your body can change. You can change. And our quote for the day comes from Benjamin Franklin. It says, energy and persistence conquer all things. And that is true. Energy and persistence conquer all things. Bob in Miami, Florida, he writes, my mom is 51 years young, and she was just diagnosed with hypoglycemia. How is this different from diabetes? Well, hypoglycemia is low blood sugar, and it's kind of a precursor before someone could potentially be dealing with diabetes. It's just where the body doesn't handle the blood sugar very well, over-secretes insulin, it drops the blood sugar, causes you to be very tired and weak for a period of time, and it's kind of a yo-yo effect that can happen. But a lot of times it's kind of a setup or a pre-setup for diabetes. So, I mean, what do you do? Managing the diet is a key. Any type of blood sugar-related issue, always go to the diet. Always. You always jump in and make changes. Radical changes equal radical results. Now, you can make small changes. You can make those baby step changes. But really getting in and making those changes every single day to your diet, that's a key, especially with hypoglycemia. And chromium picolinate, very good. A lot of research on that. Vanadium or vanadyl sulfate, both of those, very good research on those. And alpha lipoic acid, ALA. They all have very good effects on stabilizing blood sugar. But I'll tell you, from a dietary perspective, making sure that you get plenty of good, healthy fats in your diet on a regular basis, and those are the good ones, omega-3, 6s, and 9s, all of those are very beneficial. So it's about making the right choices. And once you start doing that, everything changes. Even when you're dealing with something as simple with your mom, Bob, like hypoglycemia. Healthy fats are one of the best keys for regulating blood sugar. Make sure you eat a protein with it as well. That's just basic physiology, and that's kind of diet 101, as we call it. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Let's go to Tricia. Hi, Tricia.
Hi.
How can I help, darling?
I was calling regarding my 5-year-old daughter. She has extremely red cheeks and will occasionally get white bumps on them. And then on her arms, she has white bumps from her shoulders down to her wrist. She's had it for about a year and a half, and I don't know what it is or what to do for it.
Now, what did the pediatrician said? You've been there?
Yeah, the pediatrician just said it was just dry skin and to put this heavy cream on it, which did absolutely nothing for it.
And so the little white bumps, do they spread or do they stay in one spot?
On her arm, it seems like they go they're kind of just all over. On her cheeks, it kind of just stays in one spot. Her cheeks will get really red, and then she'll get little clumps of white bumps, kind of closer to the eye area.
And do they go away?
Yeah, the ones on her cheeks when it looks like it's inflamed, red, the white bumps are worse, and then when it goes down and the inflammation is down, the white bumps will almost be gone, sometimes gone completely.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big issues with skin conditions, I talk about this often, and the skin conditions always come from the inside out, and that's why the creams typically don't work. So one of the big issues when you're looking at whether it's a child or an adult, and you're looking at the skin, coming off gluten is always a good kind of thing to do. And a lot of the research out there, gluten plays a big role in skin conditions. So it's probably a lot of what she eats, bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, all the flour-based foods. And so, literally coming off of those can play a big role. But your pediatrician, should kind of play a role in this too. And I know you've already been. They gave you cream. But I would talk about foods, food allergies. Maybe get tested for that. There's some blood testing that could be done for food allergies, which could be a potential issue. And omega-3 fatty acid deficiencies, which a lot of kids have, and probiotics. Probiotics put the good bacteria back in her digestive tract, and that's something that most kids and even adults should be using on a daily basis for optimal health. So I think that's something you might want to look into if you haven't already. And the probiotics are very simple. A lot of pediatricians are big fans of them now and, recommend them often. So look into that as far as your skin condition, because remember, when you get the gut healthy, you get the skin healthy. And the skin's the largest organ, but what goes on in the digestive tract will show itself on the skin. And that's one of the big issues here in the middle of it, okay? Keep me posted on how that goes. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Lines are open. You want to talk about your health and your life, you can give me a call right now. Now, you talk about stroke victims, and believe it or not, we're seeing stroke, I think, more than ever. Well, they're saying singing may help some of the stroke victims regain their speech. A lot of times with stroke, speech is impaired at some level, but they're saying singing can now help stroke patients which suffer from non-fluent aphasia, which is a severe difficulty in speech, relearn how to speak, according to a new study. The researchers in Germany are pointing out, however, that's rhythm and formulaic phrases associated with singing, not the melodies, that makes the difference. The lyrics and the phrases of the patients were most familiar and had the biggest impact on their articulation, which I think is really interesting. And even when they were spoken and not sung, the investigators found and they concluded that the findings could lead to the development of new therapies for speech disorders. Now, speaking difficulties are common among people who suffer strokes that damage speech areas in the brain's left hemisphere, but the right side of the brain, which supports the important functions of singing, often remains intact in these patients. Now, previous research suggests that singing would stimulate areas in the right hemisphere that would take on speech functions of the damaged areas. So interesting how something so simple as singing can regenerate and rehab the brain and rehab certain areas of the brain where speech is involved. So great research out there, and more is coming along the way. 888-283-7272. 80% of the health challenges we face today are diet and lifestyle related. That means that somehow, some way, we've lifestyled our way into getting sick. But the good news is, if we can lifestyle our way into getting sick, we can lifestyle our way out and get well, stay well, and live well. That's what the show's about. It's about empowering you to make better choices. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
You can also go online, shoot me an email. Glad to make it part of the show. And wherever you're listening to our show, we have our preferred wellness providers, a new program where I'm training doctors that believe and partnering with doctors that believe the way that I do. And we're kind of locking arms in these different areas. And, of course, so if you need to find someone in your area, you really got some tough health challenge, no one's been able to take care of it, you really haven't been to a doctor in a long time, and you want to go to someone, these are doctors that I trust that know and understand these principles that I talk about on the show, and they implement that in practice. They're called our preferred wellness providers, and you can find them locally. You can call the 800 number here on the show, and we have an entire staff dedicated to getting you the right doctor and the team that you need to take care of you in your area. So that's our preferred wellness providers. Call the same number, 888-283-7272, and it'll get you to the right folks that need to take care of you. So let's kick it off right now and go with Fred. Fred, welcome to the show, my friend. How can I help?
Well, first, let me make a little comment after saying good evening. Really appreciate what you do. You use your platform well, speaking for people that are uninsured, disenfranchised, so to say, unemployable. Medical attention is a long way off. And if it weren't for what you do, a lot of times hope would be lost. So
thanks a lot, man. That means a lot.
With that said, 56-year-old male,
okay,
38-year hard drinker, high-stress occupation,
okay,
40-year smoker, diagnosed in 2003, cirrhosis, Hep C. Due to the structure of some of the things with the insurance companies while off on medical leave, re-enrollment came up. I was not notified, so I've been basically using what social programs there are available, which doesn't go into any in-depth testing, screening, genotyping, anything of that nature. Had to move back home this March with my elderly parents who are disabled. Their resources are very limited. I have signed up for a medical program that's sponsored through the county. However, I'm in a holding pattern until that is approved. Approximately 60 days ago, pain in the abdomen became real severe, had to make a trip to the ER, which I didn't like to do, but didn't know where to go from there. CT scan was done, enlarged and irregular placed lymph nodes in the pancreas area.
Okay.
In the last 60 days, the diets went from good, greens, the good foods in moderate portions, small meals every day, multiple meals, to baby food, store-brand nutrition drinks, and it seems to be getting worse. I've got approximately another 90 days to go before whether I know I'm going to be approved to get any in-depth screening, maybe set up a prognosis for a treatment plan. So what can I do myself now that I'm not doing?
First thing always, especially when you're dealing with the liver and Hep C, you've got to deal with your eating habits. That's first and foremost, okay? So, I mean, that is the key, really, because the regeneration factor and doing everything you can to make the best choices so your body can function at the best level it can, because already there's damage done to the liver, and so you want to do everything you can to put the good stuff in the body so it's not struggling as hard.
Correct.
All right. So have you made any major changes in your diet or no?
Well, like I said, within the last year, I had gone from my normal diet, which I was able to eat, which probably wasn't real healthy for me, to mainly steamed fresh vegetables, done away with the breads, the wheats.
I got you.
Milk seemed to bother me real bad, pretty much done away with it. And then about 60 days ago, it got to where the food just seemed to flush right through me, any kind of solid food. Along with nausea and vomiting, and I'm talking 2 and 3 day bouts after a small meal of solid food. So I started with the baby food, basically. I didn't want to shut my system down, but didn't know what else to do. That was the only thing that would stay with me and give me a little bit of nutrition, and the nutritional drinks, store brand, and that's where I'm at now.
Okay. Well, nutritional drinks for sure. If you're gonna go liquid at all, make sure that you use something like Food Balance, which you can get at lifestyleresearch.org. And the reason is it's hormone free, it's antibiotic free, and the quality of what you're putting in right now is extremely important. So the vegetables and all. I mean, you sounds like you're making better choices for sure. But is the pain that's been in your abdomen, does it come and go? Tell me a little bit. Is it a 10? Like 10's the worst. On a 10 scale, what would the pain level be?
Okay, I normally walk around with about a 6. I've learned to manage that through breathing and just relaxation exercise. I've learned to tolerate that. But usually 1 to 3 times a day, I'll have one heck of a flare-up. It gets to a 10. It's a sharp stabbing pain in both my abdomen and my liver, and what concerns me now is the abdominal pain to the left side below the rib cage is really getting worse than the liver is. And I'm, my abdomen's real distended. I have to prop up with a couple of pillows, or I feel like I'm basically drowning, can't breathe.
Right.
So
the doctors at this point, did they guide you nutritionally at all at any level?
There was no offer of any kind of diet. Basically, I mean, I don't blame the doctors because they need to be paid too. So everybody's in a holding pattern. We're waiting on to see if this social program through the county will pay for anything. So,
but meanwhile,
basically,
here you are.
I have checked with them, and as far as, I don't want to call it superficial, but as far as any type of testing, any kind of treatment plan, basically their funds are so limited right now. I mean, they will test you and say, yes, you do have this. But as far as genotyping, as far as a lymph node biopsy, any PET scan, anything like that, nobody can do it right now. They don't have their funds, and they're trying to spread them out over so many people that they can't go into this specialized treatment, which you probably know I need, because their funds are limited. So, and the milk thistle, yes, it was good for me. I stayed on the omega-3s.
Good.
I did the cod liver oil, but, as my resources went away, which I thought I had a lot like most people in this day and time, but then when you're without employment for so long a period, you realize then you didn't have a whole lot between you and the wolf. So as that went away and we went down to a food stamp card every month and back home with the parents, you have to make choices on what you're going to spend that on. And, you know, of course, I try to help them, too, because they're limited on their resources. So,
right. So
you know, the supplements, yeah, right. They're, you know, they're rather pricey if you want to get the good stuff. So, you know, you have to look at where your money goes. You know, is it deodorant this month or is it milk this month? So it's, you know, but then, you know, I can sit and listen to you and know that, you know, you're giving people good advice for the right reason, you know, within your litigation happy society and still trying to do what you can do for people. That's why I was saying earlier, you know, when you fall through that crack, you often tend to be isolated.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for somebody like you out there that I can flip on and listen and gain some knowledge, useful knowledge, then, yeah, you know, almost all the time hope's lost in. So
yeah, that means a lot. That's what we're here for. And
oh, yeah.
The one thing I don't want you to lose is hope. And the one thing you have to know that with your liver, so much of it can regenerate. And I'm telling you, medical science has changed so much and become so good with viral issues like hepatitis C for the liver in helping the body. That's why I'm just going to believe with you this thing's going to go through and you're going to get the help that you need, and they can get in and they can do the biopsy and they can check. But now let me just run through some things. I'll just kind of run down a list, a little bit of things that can help, you know, from a couple perspectives. Now, there's a tea out there that's really good for cleansing of the liver. It's called Easy Act Tea. Easy Act Tea is not that expensive. It's fairly easy to get your hands on and very beneficial. Broccoli seed extract is also very good. It's something you might want to look into as well. Now, fasting is important too, but you need to do that with a physician's guidance, no doubt, especially at this point. So when this whole thing goes through with this plan, that's something I want to talk to your doctor about. Talk about partial day fast, using chicken broth, beef broth as more electrolytes and fluid replacement. That can really help the liver regenerate and stimulate a lot of the phase 1, phase 2 liver detoxification in that process. So a lot of things you can do. Look into some of the Easy Act Tea and some of those things as far as liver support. Glutathione is really good too. SOD is what it's called. Superoxide dismutase, extremely important, very regenerative to the liver, and just good for overall body function. So a couple things to think about. That'll send you off and run into Google and the health food store to go look around and do some research. But I'll just be standing with you, believing that this thing's going to go through, and I want you to keep me posted. Thank you for all the kind words. We'll be right back. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Check us out online. You can send me an email. Be glad to make it part of the show. Whatever you need, that's what we're here for. Here to take you from where you are to where you need to be. Now, here's the deal. We're talking about keys to weight loss. This is our weight loss hour that we're now doing here on the show. And you can call in. We got 1 hour. We dedicate it to weight loss, ways to lose those unwanted pounds, because it's one of the biggest epidemics we have in this country right now is not being able to drop the weight. And everyone wants to know why. They're looking for the gimmick. They've got the ab roller. You're on the special diet. You're fasting. You're doing the high fat, low fat, high carb, low carb, no carb. And you're trying to figure out, what in the world can I do to drop these pounds? Well, there's so many factors, but it really comes down to common sense. Let me tell you, no matter what, if you're on a weight loss plan or looking to lose weight, I don't care if it's 50 pounds or 15 pounds, it is critical that you get nutritional blood analysis done. Now, I'm not talking about regular blood work just for disease. That's very important. You want to do that with your doctor. Do it every 6 months with your primary care physician. That's important. I don't think you should even wait a year. I think you should do it every 6 months. And the reason is the blood changes about 4 times a year. It rolls over. Every 90 to 120 days, old cells die off, new cells form. It's vitally important to get your blood work done on a regular basis. But getting it done for like more of a nutritional analysis, checking out all the hormones, checking out everything that wouldn't normally be done, that is important to do as well. Do that twice a year. And it's very important. So nutritional blood analysis, extremely important to know exactly where your body is. And many times it's those last 15 pounds that everybody struggles so hard with. You ever notice that? It's that little bit of extra belly fat, or it's that little bit of extra hanging on the hips and thighs. Well, the deal is, if you get down, you figure out exactly what your body chemistry is doing, exactly what's going on with your body chemistry. That is where the key is overall. And figuring out what to do with that is where you're going to go to the next level with your health, and especially with weight loss and dropping those unwanted pounds. So getting down and figuring out what your hormones are doing, if there's any nutritional deficiencies at all. And here's a key. Leptin. Leptin is a fat-burning hormone within the body, and now we know it's one of the secrets to unlocking that fat-burning potential in your body. Simple blood test can verify it. It's expensive. Most doctors can't really code for it unless you've got a major medical condition that your weight, you're so overweight that it really covers for it. So that's something, if you're just doing it for general, you've got 10 pounds to lose, you just want to see where you are, it's more exploratory, it can be a little bit expensive, but it's very, very worth it. And it's something I would encourage you to have done. That and vitamin D, I think, are just two keys that need to be done regardless of what you're dealing with, and just kind of see where you are. But leptin is a key, and there's a lot of secrets to really dropping the weight, and it's all common sense. Once you get the keys and you have a good common sense plan, it makes a big difference. They said to banish belly fat, a great article, you want to drop the belly fat, vigorous aerobic exercise such as jogging or brisk walking beats weight or resistance training. That's what a new study shows. So if you're overweight or mildly obese and want to lose the fat, belly fat, visceral fat, or liver fat, now here's the interesting thing that says that. The visceral fat, the organ fat, can be almost more dangerous than just the regular belly fat. And they're saying that the aerobic training was better than resistance training. This was Chris Slentz, a PhD in exercise physiologist at Duke University. There was a new study done in the American Journal of Physiology, Endocrinology, and Metabolism. The belly fat fix study details, they say this: aerobic training group exercised by walking on a treadmill on an incline. They put equivalent of 12 miles of jogging at 80% of their maximum heart rate each week. And the resistance training group did 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions on weight training machines 3 times a week. The combination group did both workouts. Study lasted for 8 months. Slentz focused on visceral fat. It's located deep within the body around the stomach and fills spaces between internal organs. Think of that like the inside fat, and it's the one that's strongly linked to heart disease, diabetes, and other health problems. It's different from the subcutaneous fat, which is just underneath the skin, kind of more of that belly fat, and that's what expands the waistlines. But they found that the aerobic group did better. Now, here's the deal. It's great that they've done this study. And I wanted to read this to you because still the surge training that we have, which is more of hormonal training, is stronger of a physiological response for burning body fat even than this. So you can go bust your can and walk on the treadmill for 45 minutes. That's fine. You can go out and jog for an hour, but you can actually get more of a result in 20 to 30 minutes of busting your can, even 12 to 15 minutes they've done in some studies. Now, there's some workouts that say in 5 minutes you can do really, really well. Well, you can get a response, and you can get a decent response to the body, but you need a little bit more than that from the research that I've done, but it doesn't take much, and it's about the intensity. It's about having those surges of higher intensity and then resting for just a moment and then surging again and just really hitting it hard. A lot of research on that, and you increase growth hormone, you increase testosterone. So just think about it. It's about training smart. It's about working out smart. You don't have to spend a lot of time. You know, in our busy schedules, busy life, many people don't have an hour. You don't ever want to spend an hour because it'll increase a lot of the negative hormones like cortisol within the body. You want to keep it between, if you like to work out longer, don't ever go over 45 minutes. I don't care. I mean, as long as you're excited about it, that's great with me. But don't ever go over 45 minutes because you will lower testosterone, you will lower growth hormone, and you'll increase cortisol. You're going to store more body fat. And if you don't believe me, just try it. Cut back your exercise, but keep your intensity high and watch what happens to your body composition and watch how it changes. I think you'll be amazed at that. This is our special hour edition of Dropping Those Unwanted Pounds, our weight loss hour that we're getting ready to focus on. So if you've got questions for next week, you can shoot it to it, email me, and just put weight loss in there somewhere. We'll make you a part of the show. Or if you want us to call you in the show or call in on the show next time, we'll keep you posted. You can look on the website. We'll post that as well. Also at Facebook, join me there, and we'll keep you posted with all that's going on with the show. Puts another hour in the charts. I'd like to thank our producer, Jay Patrick. I'm your health and lifestyle coach. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the best in healthy talk radio.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, Check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.